Hello YouTube, I hope you all are doing absolutely fantastic. It's Califex here and we're back, right? So before I really continue, I would just love to, I would like to wish you all a happy new year, and I hope you guys had an incredible 2023. For those of you that didn't have a 2023, it's long gone. Not no need to worry. We have a new year, so I mean this can definitely be your breakthrough year, and I hope you were able to see what actually went wrong in 2023. Because as far as I've seen, a lot of people really do have a great system in their hands, but a lot of the times it tends to be the psychology that gets in the way. They don't have the right psychology to drive the edge that they already have. And some people, they may have a good psychology, but they don't have a good edge. Or a lot of people don't have an edge that provides a lot of setups every single day. So I just hope you were able to see all of those things that were not right in 2023, and try to be a little more disciplined not to repeat them in 2024. So I mean, me personally, 2023 was a very, very good year. But at the same time, I feel like there's a couple things that need improvement, especially, personal stuff like within myself. When it comes to psychology, there are certain things that I definitely need to improve. And, also, this year we're going to have some sort of improvements on the mentorship as well. And which is, we're going to have a lot more live Zoom sessions where, a lot of people will be able to, so we can all have same entry, same win, same loss, same break evens, right? I believe that can definitely can create a radical shift in the way we're conducting the world, mentorship, and students improvements and all that. So I really believe this is going to be a very interesting year, and I actually wish that you guys also have a very good 2024. So before further ado, let's just get into the outlook. So concerning, let's go. We're going to start from with Euro USD. We're just going to look at the monthly time frame. I mean, that's basically all we need, especially as an intraday trader. If we look at the monthly right here, we can see that we had this, major this high, then this low, then this high, and then we had a break, mitigation, then a second break. So just looking at the monthly structure up to this point, we can clearly see that Euro USD is bearish up to this point. So price just came above 50% retracement, right? When we look at this range high and low, price just went exactly around 50 to 61.8 Fibonacci zone, and which is where we find this very nice supply zone. So price taps here, we can see this strong reaction right here, just showing that this was a very significant supply zone. So we can drop down to weekly time frame. Right, so coming into the weekly time frame, we can see that we had this beautiful change of character right here. Just this weekly change of character. Price comes, taps the monthly supply zone, weekly gives a change of character, and then price just returned all the way up into that high, right? So price comes into the weekly. Usually what I like to see is a daily change of character, or even 4-hour change of character. Sometimes the 4-hour and daily can be, they can have the same kind of structure. So that's a good confirmation instead of dropping all the way down to lower time frame. So let me drop down to 4-hour time frame. So if we look at the 4-hour, we can see something interesting right here, is that we just had a change of character, right? Once price came into that weekly weekly supply zone, we have this nice 4-hour change of character. Even if for example, if I drop down to daily, we can see the correlation is that price actually correlates with this very nice daily supply zone that is setting up here. So while I'm waiting, right, I consider this to be, okay, the whole 4-hour zone. If price starts to pull back all the way up, I'm going to look for M15 change of character. So this is what I was talking on the previous video. I actually link right here for you guys to watch it. I was basically explaining how you make high probability setups, right? You need to establish that relationship between the higher time frame, medium time frame, before you go into the lower time frame. It takes a little bit of patience, but it's going to dramatically increase the probability of your lower time frame trades, right? So price comes here into the 4-hour, you don't have to drop down to lower time frame. Just wait for M15, those people that have a job, you can just enter straight off the M15, right, which is the medium time frame, or you can then wait for the extra layer of confirmation on the lower time frame, which is, dramatically is going to increase your probabilities. So that's what I'm going to be waiting on Euro USD. I'm going to wait for price to return, just stay very patient, return to my 4-hour supply zone, and then I'm going to wait for M15 change of character to the downside, and then we continue that overall higher time frame bearish order flow, right? So this is how we read the price. 4-hour just gave us a change of character. Once price tapped the weekly supply zone, we wait for price to return, we wait for M15, or it can be M30, right? It's the same thing as medium time frame. We wait for M15, M30 change of character to the downside, then that's when we drop down to lower time frame, right? So that's it for Euro USD. Let's go into the next pair. So Aussie dollar, we're going to start from the monthly time frame, just like we did with Euro USD, and it's very clear that the Aussie dollar overall is bearish, right? We had this break of structure, then we have this mitigation, then break of structure, price comes into the extremity of this previous high, and now we're seeing price continue all the way down. So the intention basically is to see price come all the way down and take this monthly previous low to continue the overall bearish order flow. So now we're going to understand what's going on within this monthly range right here, because we have this range high and this range low. So all of this price action, we're going to understand what's going on in the weekly. So we drop down to the weekly time frame. So we look at the weekly, we say, okay, we had this break, pull back, then price breaks. It attempted to break the previous high, but it failed. We had no body closure, so this was a sign of bullish sentiment in the market, in depletion, and bears actually stepping into the market. So then we had a break, price returns into the order block, then we have a second break of structure, price returns to this extreme right here supply zone. So now this is actually weekly structure, but the order block was refined to the daily time frame. So because I refined to the daily, I can drop down immediately to 4 hour, right? To wait for my 4-hour confirmation, or it can be 2 hours, confirmation, right? At least a change of character. So coming to 2 hours, for example, we can see something quite interesting. Right here, we can see that when price came right here, we had this some sort of change of character, little change of character here, then price mitigated, then we had another break of structure, price mitigated, supply zone, and started to push all the way down. I actually was able to catch a nice trade just to open the 2024 on Aussie dollar. It was a beautiful, beautiful trade. So if you guys actually want a breakdown of this trade, make sure you write a breakdown on the comments section below, and I'll make sure that I make that happen. So it was a very nice trade. It went to like 1 to 21, but then it came back, took me up, and then dropped. So this would have been a massive like 1 to 100 something risk to reward ratio. So it was a good trade. But what I'm expected to see is that we have a ton of imbalances still sitting above. So I'm waiting to see Aussie dollar actually pulling back up into this supply zone, and then we have that continuation to the downside. So it's simple as that. This is just the 2 hours. So once price comes to my 2 hour, I can wait. I would recommend to wait for M15 change of character, and then we can sell all the way down, right? And we're actually following the overall higher time frame intentions from the monthly, which is bearish, right? So that's it for Aussie dollar. Let's move to the next pair. So GU also, we can start from the monthly time frame. Basically, that's all we need. So we look at GU, we can clearly see that the overall higher time frame intention is bearish, right? We had the structure low, high, and then low. So this was a break to the downside. Price came back, mitigated perfectly. This was the first attempt after the first mitigation, but what happened? Price actually failed to close below. That's why I always say it's very important to wait for body breaks, right? So price failed right here, then it came back right here to give like a second mitigation, double mitigation, but then it finally closed below right here. Now price is came back into this supply zone. We have this nice push to the downside. So this is the monthly. We drop down to weekly time frame. So on the weekly time frame, we can see that we had this nice change of character to the downside right here. Very clear change of character right here to the downside. This actually was the whole weekly zone, but I ended up refining to this week, which is a daily supply zone. So because I ended up refining to the daily, I can wait for 4 hour change of character. So I actually refined to this week right here. There is also a possibility the price may want to come into some of these zones right here, this supply zone or this one. But as of now, I'm monitoring what price has already shown us, right? So price came into this zone, it actually failed to violate the order block with a body break, right? So he kind of just weaked, and then we have this major, you know, bearish push to the downside. So then we drop down, for example, to 4-hour time frame. It can be 4 hour, and what we can see is that price actually gave a nice change of character right here. We just had this, you know, previous high, low, then high, and then price ended up breaking right here, this swing low. So we just have a 4-hour break of structure to the downside. So what I'm waiting for on GU is some sort of, you know, price come into this 4-hour. What I would recommend to do is wait for M15 change of character once price comes to this 4-hour supply zone. Wait for M15 change of character, right? Because there's a possibility that price may want to come to the other weekly supply zones above. So wait for M15. Once you have M15, you have a good confirmation. So then you can drop down to lower time frame and we sell all the way down, right? So we're just gonna be very patient when the market opens. So wait for M15 and then we'll go for the kill. So let's go into the next pair. So our next pair is going to be New Zealand dollar. New Zealand dollar, similarly to the other previous 3 pairs that we looked at, we can look from the monthly and we can see similarities, right? Is that all of them actually have this higher time frame bearish intention, right? We just have this break, mitigation, second break, and then mitigation. So all of those from Euro USD, Aussie dollar, GU, all of them have the same, you know, price action and the overall high time frame intention, which is bearish. So we see that on this monthly range, we have this price action right here. We're expecting to see price come all the way down, taking this weekly low as well as the monthly low. So let's go to weekly and see what's going on within that monthly range. And we can see that overall, the structure is bearish, right? We have this break, pull back, then a push to the downside, then price comes back right here to respect this unmitigated supply zone. And then we start to see this push right here to the downside. Now price, just looking at what's going on within this zone right here is that we had a break. Price used this as inducement, then came swept and then broke structure, and now price came to the extremity of this previous supply zone. So this actually ended up refining on the daily time frame. So because I refined on the daily, therefore I can drop down to 4 hour to look for my confirmation, right? So we come to 4 hour, for example, and we see that New Zealand dollar has given a beautiful 4 hour change of character, right? We had this previous, you know, minor high, then low, then a high, and then price broke structure. We can see the price came back right after it broke. It came back, mitigated that supply zone, and then it broke structure again. And we have a ton of imbalances above. So there is a reason as to why price needs to pull back a little bit higher before it continues to the downside. So I'm marking this zone right here, which is a zone of possible reaction that I want to see. I want to see price coming into this zone. As we can see, we're on the 4 hour. So once price comes to my 4 hour, we are going to wait for M15 change of character, which is our medium time frame, before we drop down to lower time frame. Very, very important. So wait for M15, and then you're going to drop down to lower time frame. So once price pulls back up, I'm going to be very patient when the market opens. Wait, price taps the 4 hour. I'll wait for M15 before I go to lower time frame. Okay. So let's go into the next pair. So this pair is UJ. Something is very interesting that is going on UJ, because if we look at the weekly, for example, is we had this break of structure right here to the down. So I had this previous high, then this previous low. Then price broke structure, it pulled back. It didn't mitigate the demand zone, right? So you can see right here how inducement is built. Sometimes you have a break and you have a POI that is left unmitigated, and price will not come back. It will just pull back a little bit and then break structure again. Everybody's putting orders here. They got tagged out. Price comes to mitigate the previously unmitigated demand zone, and then it starts to push all the way up. But price pushed all the way up. I was still expecting to see price close above this previous high. I mean, it was just about to, you know, to break above. I believe this is like, you know, liquidity build up for price to come into this demand zone right here. This actually is the daily. So let me drop down to the daily time frame. So this actually is a very, very nice, we can see right here, this last down candle before the up move. So this was a daily demand zone, and I'm expecting to see GU continue to move all the way up into break that weekly previous high and continue the overall bullish order flow, right? So price comes to my daily demand zone. You guys already know I like to wait for 4 hour change of character, right? Which is the hourly. I like to wait for hourly change of character to the upside as a confirmation. So there is no need to drop down immediately to lower time frame, right, to try to get some money. Wait, right? Waiting is very, very important, right? So price comes to the daily demand zone. What do? Okay, we can see right here we had a significant liquidity sweep of this previous low. So price kind of tapped, liquidated the low and then immediately started to push to the upside right here. So price just broke structure on the 4 hour. We just have a nice change of character to the upside. What am I waiting for? Actually, I'm waiting for M15 change of character to the downside. At first, as an intraday trader, I can look for selling opportunities right here. So I can do the counter trend. I can wait for selling opportunities right here on UJ, but I'm gonna need the medium time frame at first. I need the M15 change of character right here that will tell me that, okay, 4 hours is ready to do a pullback towards its demand zone, right? So I'm gonna wait for price to give me the M15 change of character to the downside, right? And then I can sell all the way down to 4 hour demand before we have that continuation to the upside. So this is how you counter trend safely, right? By waiting for all the conferences to show up. So let me drop down to M15, for example. Let's see what UJ has given us. So up to this point, I believe we can clearly see that UJ has given us a M15 change of character right here. Very, very beautiful and clean. We can see we have a break. We have this decisional demand supply zone, right? Because this actually was the last up candle before the down move that finally violated the previous low. But also we have this one right here at the extreme. So there is a possibility the price may decide to come all the way up here. So having this medium time frame break change of character, this is the first sign that a 4 hour is ready to have a pullback towards its demand zone below. So what I'm gonna wait for is for price to tap either at this demand zone, then I can drop down to lower time frame, look for sales to sell all the way down, or I can wait to see if price is going to come all the way into this one, and then I'm gonna drop down to lower time frames and look for the confirmation, and it could be a change of character, and then you sell all the way down to that 4 hour demand zone. So it's simple as that, very repetitive, and there is no guesswork right here. It's just rules, something that is very, very repetitive every single day in the market. So that's what I'm waiting for on UJ. So let's move to the last pair. So our last pair for today, as always, is going to be gold. I know a lot of people trade gold, and a lot of people always ask me to, just give a look at gold. Gold is a pair that I'm, step by step liking the price action, because I've been really catching up some really good ones on gold. So it's a very good pair, I should say. So if we look at the weekly time frame, we just had this break. Previously, we had a break of structure to the upside. Then we had a mitigation. Then price broke structure again. We can see this pool of liquidity that was built. Price then came, swept all that liquidity, started to push to the upside. We also had this build up of liquidity right here at the top. That's when price ended up sweeping right here. So it just took out the high. So gold actually is very, very bullish looking from the higher time frame. So there is some strength on gold over the dollar. So we're seeing this push right here, so break, mitigation, and then a second break of structure, had a body closure right here. So let me drop down to the daily time frame. We can see something interesting going on here, is that we had this break right here, right? So we're just gonna look at this structure high, this low, and then this major high right here. So price broke structure, it came back perfectly into this demand zone, and now we're seeing the push to the upside. So now this is the daily structure. Now I should drop down to 4 hour. So what's going on the 4 hour time frame is that within that daily struggle, that daily range, we had this high, this low, and then that high, all this major high right here on the 4 hour. Price came all the way into this extreme demand zone. So we can see with this push, this actually was the NFP. So NFP actually tapped this demand zone and started to push all the way up. So this is price coming to my 4 hour demand zone. What do I need to do next? Medium time frame, right? I need to drop down to medium time frame, look for confirmation. So right here we had a nice M15 change of character after price tapped that 4 hour demand zone. We can see price swept all that liquidity, pushed immediately to the upside. So I'm looking at this demand zone on the M15. I would like to see some reaction here. I'm gonna monitor the reaction at this demand zone because I can actually look for buying opportunities all the way up, right? to that daily high. So it's just simple. Price comes to 4 hour, right? Which is, I mean, price came to the daily. It gave us a 4 hour break of structure to the upside. Price came back to that 4 hour, and now has given us an M15, which is the medium time frame, an M15 change of character to the upside. So we're seeing all the conferences lining up. What I need to see now is price coming to the M15. I'm gonna look for my lower time frame confirmation so we can buy all the way up, right? So that's basically the outlook for the first outlook of the year. I hope I made the point clear with this one. If you guys have any doubt, my contact is in the description box below. Feel free to contact me, chat with me anytime you want. And I just hope you guys, I mean, smash this year. And you know, this is going to be an interesting year. I mean, if you're willing to join the mentorship, feel free. Contact is in the description box below. You're very welcome. And you know, guys, don't forget to like the video. You know, let's like the video. Let's get the algorithm running. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. And I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Appreciate that.